Hey everyone, this is Boris, your host for Scoop and Scale, and I'm joined by Joel Workman here. He's based out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and to kind of preface it, Joel started his Pooper Scooper business just last month, and I am working with him on marketing. We're doing Facebook and Google, and I wanted to bring him on the show today to kind of give you guys his experience so far on the journey. And Joel, thanks again for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Joel, so sorry. I know we had to redo this again, but if you could just kind of walk people through how you got to this point in your dog pooper scooper journey, that would be great.
Yeah. So last September, like I had mentioned before, I prematurely, in my opinion, I left corporate America. I had been working, last 10 to 12 years for a couple different companies, and I had always wanted to do something on the side to really kind of get things going, and long story short, like I said, I quit my job, and I thought I had a deal lined up to buy a distribution company, and the deal kind of went stale, and so I started looking at some other things. I had already invested in some vending machines, so I started my own vending company, and I officially launched that at the beginning of this year, in 2025 in January. And I got my machines placed and everything, and it takes a lot of capital to kind of keep that ball rolling to really be able to scale it. So I started to look at some other things, and I stumbled across Swoop, and I think what's the guy's name out of Spokane, Washington? It's Swoop and Scoop.
Yes, yeah.
I stumbled across his page actually, and I started watching him a little bit, and I was hooked. And then I started watching a few more YouTube videos, and I ran across Ryan with Bombs Away, and I immediately fell in love with the name. That's really what got me hooked. Bombs Away. I thought it was really catchy. It was great. I had some other names lined up, but it wasn't quite as good as Bombs Away. So. And then it was just a matter of, convincing my wife that I wanted to pick up dog poop for a living. The rest was kind of history.
Was that a hard sell to be like, hey, honey, speaking of this business idea?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly easy, when even for me to take the leap, to jump into it, it was, you second guess yourself. Do you really want to be the face of a dog's poop scooping company, and then let alone convince your wife, and she's got to be a part of it too, so it's a big decision, but I think there's a ton of opportunity in our market and in our area specifically, and just the opportunity, I think, is what sold her on the idea, for the most part, and it's, like I said, I've got 3 kids, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And so, when they get a little bit older, this is something that I could easily integrate them in and get them involved with. So I'm all about it now. We're definitely all about it and 100% in. So
Nice, man. Yeah, and I mean, going from corporate America, right? Maybe it's like a suit and tie or something, and then now you're picking up dog food. 2 completely different worlds, but it's really awesome to hear that you're really on this journey to give, yourself a more time management for yourself, and then also pass something down to your kids. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
But man, so what made you interested in joining the pet waste removal industry specifically? I mean, I know that you mentioned there were other businesses lined up, but why pet waste removal?
I was just convinced that, so we do have a few other competitors in the market, but it's not completely saturated, yet. And I thought there's a real opportunity here, there's not a lot of people that know about the industry. So I think the more, we get it marketed and we get it out there, I think there's just a huge opportunity for this thing to blow up. Like I said, we've got probably 2 companies in our area that are really running the market right now as we've entered. And, I still get calls from people that they've never heard of the service before. Mm-hmm. So I think in terms of like a good niche service, it's really comparable. And I think of it like, your local lawnmower company. They're 1 in a million. You know what I mean? There's guys everywhere doing that. And with this community, I just thought you get in early enough, get established. I just think the opportunity is there, and it's going to blow up, within the next 5 to 10 years. And, if you're leading in the market, you're going to be sitting pretty good.
There you go. Yep. That's exactly what I'm learning as I go as well. And so, you mentioned you heard Bombs Away through just a series of YouTube videos that you've watched and stuff. But what made you say yes to the franchise versus kind of starting something up on your own?
Yeah. So for me, it was just timing. I wanted to go quick. I wanted to be able to launch quick. There's a lot of things on the back end that I don't have a whole lot of experience in, and it's not for everybody. But for me, it was the right decision. Ryan's been great. He has a very affordable franchise fees, and I'll let him kind of sell that on his own. But for me, he's done a great job, working with me and getting, my Google page and the website set up, introducing me to people who have done things for his business they've been, good for him, and they've done great work for him, like yourself, so, getting hooked up with people like you, I think it's just one step closer to being able to get this thing off and rolling quicker, like I'm trying to. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned, right? You hit me and you hit me up before the long weekend started, and you said, "Hey, can we crank up the ad spend?" We're like, cool, let's do it, right? Because things have been going really well, and like literally
right.
every hour I check, it's like bing, 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 bing.
Oh yeah.
How does that make you feel, man?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's for being new and knowing, like I said, we've got a couple other competitors in the area that are, kind of controlling the market right now. That people are still reaching out and are interested in the service. It just goes to show, there's still a lot of people out there, a lot of market to be had. So we're excited about it.
Nice. And you mentioned this a little bit before, but can you dive into it a little deeper? What were there any hesitations or fears before jumping in, and how did you overcome them?
I didn't really have any fears per se. It was just a matter of being okay with, I'm going to be a pooper scooper.
Yeah, and how did you get there, like mindset wise? Because again, coming from corporate America to now picking up dog poop.
Yeah, for me, it was just I'm about what I can make it, and if I could scale it. I'd reached a point in my career where things just got completely stale. I was at a job where I would have had to move up in the company, and it just wasn't right for my family. And then with this, we can expand territories. We've got a huge market that we can expand into. So the sky's the limit, really, and we truly believe it.
Nice. So going into like the launch week and setup, what's your main focus? What was your main focus during the first week of launching?
First week of launching, running our ads and everything. It's just really getting back to the customers as soon as we could, making sure if anyone had any questions, we were answering them as fast as we could. We're still getting out there and trying to get acclimated with community, trying to get in front of all the veterinarians in the area, all the shelters in the area, the pet industry, essentially. So there's a lot.
Is that you going out there, knocking on doors, passing out flyers, networking, stuff like that?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so that's really good to hear, man. That's really good to hear. Because obviously, ads only take you so far. Ads are great, but it's the things that are kind of in between the cracks, so to say, like you going out to a veterinarian's office and really introducing yourself and just putting face to name. That an ad can't do that,
right? Right. Absolutely.
So what has Bombs Away helped you with during your setup phase?
During my setup phase, everything. I mean, to the CRM, Sweep and Go, to, like I said, the website, my Google page, giving me the tips on the proper tools to be using. I mean, literally from A to Z, if you can think of it, they've been great for me getting started. The process has been very good.
Right, it's been the experience that Ryan's had over the last 8, 9, 10 years that just really passed that knowledge on, right?
Yep.
And so, how have your friends and family reacted to you starting a dog poop business?
Honestly, when I told them, they're all kind of like, okay, I can actually see a market for that, you know? So it's just like it takes them a minute and then they think about it and they're like, yeah, I can see this taking off. And so it's been really good. You know, I've had a lot of friends when we post and stuff on Facebook organically, they're helping us share and trying to get the word out. And so it's been good so far.
That's really good. Sounds like you got a really good support system, man. So
Absolutely.
it's awesome to hear. What tools or gear did you have to start? What tools or gear did you get to start for your very first route?
I got what do you call those things? The big dustpan, the handheld dustpan. I went on Amazon and I got the little handle you can attach to it. So after just went to Home Depot and I got that, and then I started walking around with it in my own yard just to kind of get a feel for it. I'm like, well, I could see holding this thing all day. I'm going to want something different. So I went and I bought a handle for it so I can just hold it upright, and then just some regular trash bags, and then a little rake. You know, the first rake I bought I probably wouldn't buy that one again, but Ryan gave me some good options that he sent me a couple links to that I ended up purchasing. They work out great, but the first one I got with the fingers on it were a little wide and it was pretty stiff, so it was just hard to get it up out of the thick grass sometimes. So
You're talking about the poop, right? Yeah. And so, what was your first pickup like? The experience? I mean, there must have been a million things going through your head. Like, walk us through that.
yeah, so I got there. I called the customer before I got there. I'm just trying to over communicate, you know, make sure she's comfortable with everything, make sure she had her dogs up, and then I just started the yard. You know, I started working my way vertically back and forth, and then just to be extra thorough, you know, I'm doing my horizontal cross after I do my verticals and making sure I don't miss anything. You know, and then she was pretty pleased. As I was doing all that, her dog has got chew toys scattered throughout the entire yard, and I'm just, you know, I picked them up for her and put them on her porch, and she was really thankful I did that. You know, but it's just the little things like that I think are going to go a long way. People, you know, you go there, you show them that you care about what you're doing, and you know, eventually they'll start spreading the word.
Are a lot of the customers that you've landed so far from these ads we're generating for you, are they all new customers, new to the actual service, or have they had this experience before?
I would say the majority. All but two of them, I think, so far have been brand new customers. Now, I will say a lot of the leads that we've gotten that I've spoken to have all been new customers.
Oh,
to
the service, right? To the service.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
But then I've got two that actually have left another company that we've been able to bring on for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, because like you said, right, it sounds like there's not much of this happening there yet. So if you just continue to get in front of these people, you make a name, you're like, oh, hey, I'm Joel, I'm the guy who picks up your dog's poop, and you continue to grow, right?
Right.
And so you mentioned kind of just meeting with local veterinarians and stuff like that, but how are you currently introducing yourself and your family to the local community?
Just, you know, we're going out there and just telling them what we do. You know, we're just trying to get the word out. The more people you talk to, the better. So, you know, whether it be joining certain Facebook groups that, you know, lost pets, lost and found pets, you know, all sorts of stuff on Facebook, and then getting out in the community and talking to people. I think it is a big deal to just be consistent in doing that over time. You know, I know it'll pay some dividends for us.
Yeah, definitely. And so obviously we're doing Facebook ads and Google ads together, and that's definitely exciting for the both of us. But other than that, outside of that, what most excites you about kind of spreading the word about this? Is it kind of just like the Facebook groups? Is it flyers, word of mouth, like kind of just, you know, bumping elbows, putting stuff up on Starbucks, like the bulletin boards? Like, what do you think excites you?
I think, you know, word of mouth. I think the more people I can get in front of, the better. You know, getting just the opportunity to speak to different, you know, HOAs and getting into some commercial properties. You know, and trying to just network with people that are involved with this industry. You know, I think there's a huge opportunity in the area. getting involved with some people like that. So that excites me. Um, I don't know, this industry period excites me because I truly do believe that there's just so much opportunity out there to be had if you get after it.
Are you kind of a side note? Are you Are you a Pacers fan?
I'm not a Pacers fan. I'm not a big basketball fan, but it's funny you ask because my brother-in-law's a huge Pacers fan. So.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, dude, if you showed up to these marketing events with an Indiana Pacers jersey, oh, it's over, man.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way they're rolling. But couple last questions here, man. So, what kind of mindset do you think it takes to succeed in a business like this?
I think you just got to go into it about. You got to wrap your head around about being consistent and doing the daily things every day. Because you're going to have days where we've already had them. We're only a couple weeks in here, and your leads will go up, and the next day you won't get any. And so if you just rely on that, you're definitely not going to get where you want to go as fast as you want to go. So it's just you got to set your mind to you're going to speak to a certain amount of people a day. You're going to go out and you're just going to get out there, and you just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And be consistent with it. That's the big thing.
Yeah, and how has social media played its part? I know that you're in like a couple Facebook groups and stuff, but let's talk about like TikTok or Instagram. Are you guys on and active on any of those platforms?
We're not quite yet on Instagram, which I'll get that squared away for you, or TikTok. But with Facebook, it's just that's a community in and of itself. Getting inside of those Facebook groups. There's a lot of people that are in those groups that I think now I've hit some roadblocks with that because I've been trying to get into all these groups and post some stuff, and not all of them will let me. But
yeah.
It's a good way to get your stuff out there organically and just engaging with people because there's a big opportunity there as well.
Definitely. And where do you hope and see your business will be 6 months or a year from now?
I'm hoping within 6 months we've got 100 clients. That's my goal. So we've definitely got some work to do, but I think it's doable. And I think once we get to the point where we're gearing up for spring again, I think we're gonna kill it. I've got some plans to get involved in a local home garment show that we have here in the Fort Wayne area, and just really this year take advantage of the spring session that's going to be coming. So
yeah, and again, you've only been in this for literally a couple of weeks. Is this from your experience a seasonal business where it's going to be like kind of up and down type of thing, or?
I don't know what the winter's going to look like. From watching some of the other people that are doing it in certain areas of the country, like in Michigan, they're still picking up dog poop in the middle of the winter, which is good. Because it makes that spring session a little bit easier and more affordable for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do expect things to kind of slow down a little bit, just naturally. Most other businesses do once the winter kind of hits. But that's once we get into that spring, I'm really looking forward to this next year, for sure.
Nice, man. And Joel, that concludes our session here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share to the good people who are watching this? Any current scoopers, any people who are looking to get into the business, what would you tell them?
I'd just say just trust yourself. If you're going to dive in, make sure you're 100% and be willing to put the work in. And, good things will come. It's just going to take time.
Cool. Joel, thank you for your time. I see you're needed elsewhere, man. Thanks again, Joel.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, have a good one.